There we go. Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so let's talk about the portal, because I woke up this morning and with the whole DMT thing, you know, releasing that, but being conscious while you're doing that and coming back to this consciousness. You want to come up, buddy? All right. Yoda wants to join in. So, hi, baby. So, in that DMT state, if you will, it was more like there was a dangling rope with knots in it from a mossy cliff, and I was just sitting in the darkness. And that's what the portal is, right? It's you're rebirthing into a different state, and people don't typically bring into their consciousness every year that this happened on 11/11 in some way, shape, or form. So I think we're gonna kind of dispel the myth that, like, when you step into a portal, you're stepping into paradise. No, you're stepping into chaos. You are stepping into the darkness of a new beginning. Nothing has been created yet. There's nothing there. But the universe will dangle you a rope and say, okay, let's go. So you've got to keep in mind that you're not stepping into heaven, paradise, whatever. It's stepping into nothingness, chaos, which I think is a Greek goddess. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure. I'm more than positive, because we're really taken by the card. But chaos is that state of nothingness, that state of pure potential, that state of absolute peace and silence and darkness. And for whatever reason, the human psyche has formed that into something to be afraid of. When there's nothing there, the only thing that you have is what's here. And that's not scary. It's only scary because you haven't gone there yet. It's only terrifying because you don't know yourself. And this is a grand opportunity for you to do that. It's not some terrifying, horrific, monsterish place. If anything, you do find the monster is you. And you are to make friends with that monster. There's so many times where I have just, like, been on that sheet of ice, on that lake, just livid, pissed off. And, you know, that anger threshold is what keeps you from sinking into that deep pit or abyss or watery hole, as I like to call it, of nothingness. But down in that, if you just ask the bottom to meet you, just to, okay, I'm sinking here, I'm sinking, ask the bottom to come up and hold you. And it will. And, you know, like, peaceful. It's actually peaceful and serene there, because there's no outside disturbances. There's nothing there. And that's the beauty of it. That is your peace. That is your serenity. That is your holy space. It's literally holy. It's your sacred ground that only you have access to, because nobody else is there. Nobody else is going to meet you there. So whatever you're holding within you is free. It's free to just exist. It's free to just be. And it's free to slide right off my lap. Sorry, buddy. Okay. Hang on. Dude, that can be comfortable. Okay, come here. Alright, there we go. Get a little arm underneath there. Creak in the neck, buddy. Okay. So, the nothingness, which the never-ending story teaches you to be afraid of. But if you take away at the end of the film where he's just kind of, because Velcor was there, the princess was there, that's the great nothing. That's chaos. That is nothingness. And by gum, if there's not a dragon at the bottom of that freaking despair of pit, there's always a dragon there. There's always a dragon. There's always a dragon at the pit of your despair. Always. So this is obviously a dragon made out of dragon's blood stone. Very cool. Found him recently. He's lovely. He's gorgeous. I greet him every morning. So, yeah, I'll leave that someplace where you can see it kind of ish. Keeping the flame with the dragoon. So, when you're in that pit, you ask, where is my monster? Where is it? Ask to meet it. Your monster is not going to hurt you. It's not. You think it is. You falling asleep on me, bro. He just twitched. It's all right. So that monster, that daemon, is going to be your lift. That's going to be your lift. That's what's going to be your spirit animal, whatever you want to call it, your totem, your fallback point. And at that point, when you decide to call in your monster, for lack of a better word, that fear in you that's afraid of it goes away. It dissipates. And now you don't have an enemy within you anymore. You have an ally. And it's there whether you acknowledge it or not. It's there whether you like it or not. It's there whether you make peace with it or not. So this is your opportunity to make that peace with whatever monster exists within you. So this is going to piss off a lot of love and light people, and I understand that, because when you have to wait around in the thing that people like to call reality, and it's not reality, it's a lie. When you have to wait around in that thick pea soup, it is horrific. It is atrocious. It's disgusting. It's terrifying, and I understand that. And it's not lost on me. I'm not oblivious to it. It's just the matrix, and you choose the matrix when you choose to partake. And that is a paradigm shift that has now just been given to you with this dark pit of nothingness, of pure chaos. What does the princess ask in the nothingness? When Falkor takes him to the princess, what does he ask for? What does he want to create in his reality? He takes his new dragoon and he rides it and gets revenge on those bullies. Not that I would suggest you get revenge. That is a fool's game. But if it won't leave you, if you can't think of anything else, then ride that dragon into revenge and see where it gets you. You don't get to decide the outcome on that, but you will get an experience that will definitely be remembered for the rest of your days. And some people unconsciously ride that dragon everywhere they go, without understanding that it is indeed their worst enemy. Because when you seek revenge, you're just demonizing yourself. You're just cutting off whatever. And sometimes, absolutely, it is necessary. And I'm not sure if you can actually see me right now because the sunlight is directly hitting the lens. I'm sorry. Oh, look at that lovely little purple orb. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't think the sunlight's going to dissipate that way. Can we move it? Oh, shoot. Okay, so we're just going to leave it there. What is with the... Okay. So when you have this modality of living set in front of you, you create whatever you want there. No one creates that for you. No one's holding a gun to your head there. This is your own internal space. Nobody has access to this unless you allow them. And even then, it's really hard to get there. If you have like the Teal Swan connection, the connection process, which is a really small book, and it's on one of my other 2 bookshelves. But it's a good modality to use to even get past your own firewalls without having an 1111 portal. So, and this is a continuum. This doesn't stop. There's not one and done. It's a continuum. You're constantly going down and finding more beasts. And you're finding more enlightenment. You're finding more chaos to bring order to. This is the continuum of existence. This is the snake eating its tail. But if you can cut off the negative BS, if you can cut that and remove that particular snake's head, there are other snakes that will rise within you. Some people call it Kundalini. There's... Sorry, I have a dog in my lap, which I do not care to disturb. And a very heavy book, which I definitely need to show you. I made a painting a long time ago. It was more of an arts and crafts painting. It wasn't like paint. It was... I used all kinds of things. Moss, feathers, eucalyptus. Used a bunch of stuff. Forgive me, I did not put my phone on silent. Where incarnation did it go? But it's the snakes. And that's the problem, is like I can't remember exactly what it's called now because I pish-poshed it. I got mad at it. Put it away. But it's a symbol of commerce, supposedly. But what they're doing is robbing you of this energy in your vital life force sphere, if you will. There it is. Okay. Bye. Good boy. Okay. And you still can't see it. Blasted. We'll go through it when I get the sound thing on. But it's two snakes spiraling up the center of this man's beam of light coming through him. And then there's wings at the top of his head. Which is not commerce. It's the human body. They are literally robbing you of yourself and your vital life force energies. How sweet and cute. So so let's meet this rubber to the road. Okay, so what is it? What the hell are you talking about, lady? I hear ya. I got it. Okay, so when you give your vital life force energy, which is your mind, your soul, your spirit, your energy, your time, and attention to completing tasks for a corporation or business, you are trading your entire existence for money so you can pay to have food, a place to live, some warmth or some cooling or some, candles or whatever it is. You are trading that. You are trading your vital life force energies for paper. And I don't have anything to drink with me because I know you need time to sit with that. And it is voluntary to a certain extent, but it's also forced to a certain extent. So you get to choose where you go and put your vital life force energies in order to get that money. But right now, as it stands in quite a few places on the globe, there's not enough money being dished out for you to have access to all your vital life force energies. Dun, dun, dun. I know, I hear you. I understand. I completely do. I had, at one point in my life, I had 3 jobs. So I understand that, and I still have 2, so what the hell. So the trick is to get yourself to a point of doing things you love. And the problem with that is the things that you love are not fostered very well by the people around you. They're just not fostered. It's not my son or my daughter wants to be a musician. There's very few parents on the planet that are like, yeah, you should totally do that. It's few and far between, okay? And the ones that do support that typically have the finances to do so. If you're coming here as an immigrant from any country, your mom or dad is gonna be like, look, you're gonna be a doctor, a pharmacist, a lawyer, a CEO of some sort, that kind of thing. And that's kind of how that ball rolls. And it is sad, it's tragic, and I understand that it's frustrating. And it is crumbling. We are going to witness that in our lifetimes. It's crumbling. Government's crumbling to a certain extent. Although I will say, I think girls are going to take over, because you done lit a fire. They lit a fire under the lady's bum, and we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And that's okay. Because the future is feminine. The Y chromosome's going extinct. And we have to find a different modality of existing. It's not a choice anymore. It's not a choice. The younger generations are not having it. They're just not having it. They are not up for this BS that we partook in. They're not up for it. And you can't make people do stuff. You cannot make them. They're beautiful, bright little sparky sparks are like, no. What is it? I think it's called absurdism is taking over right now, where they're just getting absurd with stuff. And it does make sense, because it is absurd. We used to have a reasonable goal, and we don't have one anymore. We used to be able to, okay, so if I work X amount of years for X amount of hours for X amount of money, I'm going to spend the last 15 years of my life in peace and sovereignty and bliss and happiness. And really, I'm going to be able to be there for the next generations coming along and be that support system that these generations now don't have, because they have been completely corrupted. It's few and far between that haven't been Agent Smith. I mean, I've probably been Agent Smith at several points in my life, so there's no shaming here in that. But the Agent Smiths that are still lingering, not wanting to do the inner work, forcing it out, those people are gonna be the ones that are gonna go and lose their minds here shortly. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to pay witness to it. So our job is to keep our faculties, our mental energy, which is spirit, and our soul energy, which is the sun hitting the earth, and that earth in turn, that cyclical pattern, feeding us from below and feeding us from above. So if we can keep those faculties in place and keep that cyclical pattern with those snakes running up, I'm not saying you have to awaken your kundalini. I'm saying be fully present with your faculties intact. And learning how to, oh, hi there, learning how to activate the heart energy without investing. You activate the heart energy, you allow yourself to feel, but you don't immediately invest. I think that I have not quite gotten the heart on the sleeve metaphor or saying yet. I don't really understand that. But what I can tell you is that when you allow yourself to feel without investing, you're allowing the other person to feel as well without jumping anywhere where you're not supposed to go. You're allowing for things to develop in a way that feeds you both without destruction. And that's where what is his name? Greg Brannon, the guy with the spiky silver hair. He talks a lot about, maybe not a lot, but I think I've watched that video too many times. That could be it. The aspect of him meeting someone and she sparks something in him and they talk for hours and blah 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 blah, and even though his wife had betrayed him and whatever else, I'm not suggesting you do this. This is personally, in my humble opinion, I don't think this is a good idea, but he did this. And it kind of stuck with me. The story was like, I'm going to have to probably face the same thing with this new person that I feel something with, because I haven't dealt with it in my previous life. So he stuck with his wife that cheated on him with his best friend, and to each their own. I'm not judging on that. But what I'm saying is, it is a cyclical pattern until you cut the snake's head off. So if you're tired of going into those circumstances head first into an empty pool, because you did not bother to even check the temperature of the other person's water, which more often than not is non-existent. Again, go watch The Siren, because the modality there between the masculine and the feminine is on point. She can't leave her emotional water. Okay, water is the emotional element. She can't leave without a death. And if you pay any attention to society, it's always telling you to leave your emotion behind. It's always asking you to do that. It's always telling you emotions are bad, they're ugly, they're disgusting. Don't have them. Don't have them. Okay, so that's what we've been doing to the feminine aspects in ourselves. And again, this plays out in relationship dynamics because there's one party that's supposed to embody completely the masculine, and there's one party that's supposed to completely embody the feminine. Well, okay, so when you have that modality where you are constantly being told that you are not allowed to be in your emotion, and if you go watch that movie, it's freaking adorable. It's so cute. It's comical. How terrified he is of water. It's just, oh, it's such a great, they did such a great job. Those people deserve all the things. But it's that dynamic of not wanting to feel your emotions, and she is all the way in it, and he has no need, no want, and he's utterly terrified of it. And the reason why he's attracted to her so much is because she's filled with it. She is jam-packed with emotion. And that's where the opposite attract thing comes in, is because everyone you meet probably has medicine for you, probably. And that travesty is that medicine doesn't always feel good. Okay, so and I am not Mary Poppins, and I don't think anybody should have to be Mary Poppins in order to distribute the medicine, but that's my scorpionic nature. So when we have that opportunity, it's an opportunity to meet others outside of ourselves that have the medicine that we need, we can too be the other person's medicine for whatever reason it is. So if it's let's do the emotional. So if it's because the other person is terrified of their emotion, and this is going to speak to a slew of people, because men are terrified of emotions. There's just no getting around that. The masculine is terrified of emotions. And the thing about that is, if you can tell, if you could find that within yourself where you're afraid of your emotions, and I'm speaking to the ladies here, because typically we're not taught to be afraid of our emotions, we're just taught to hide. Don't be the crazy, right? And why do men so frequently get attracted to the crazy? Because they need the dose of bad medicine. What is that stupid, stinking, obnoxious? I'm not even going to put it in your head because I hate that fucking song. But there's some 80s tune. I hate it. Hey, what are you doing? Okay, anyway. Anywho. So it's an exchange, because the women are suppressing their emotions to the point where anybody taps on them and says, hey, I really, really like that. And she's like, you do? You like that? Let me show you all of them right now. And she's like, oh, I like that you can focus on all these different things and like accomplish this and get that done and blah 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 and have all this blah 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 blah, whatever it is, you know, the man thing. They're earthly and diverse, let's put it that way. So they're going off to Pentacles, the resources, gathering this and making this with that and blah 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 blah, and we're just sitting over here in our emotions, amplifying whatever it is we get. That's the woman's job. Step on toes in this video. Freaking another trigger warning. Okay. So we as women naturally take the chaos and make order because we give birth to chaos. We give birth to the babies. Okay. So we give birth to the chaos. Okay. So we naturally have instincts there to make order. And no, I do not want you to go out and get pregnant in this climate that we are in right now. That is not what the F I am saying. Do you understand? Unless you have a solid support system and are committed to your cult-like mentality, whatever the heck that might be for you, then you can go ahead and have whatever. But right now, having babies is not conducive to. And the travesties, the people who see that are going to be like, yeah, no. And the people who don't have their faculties are going to be breeding like crazy. So, extinction. Just a warning, just a heads up. If you don't have your faculties, you're not thinking about any of this. You're thinking about other stuff. Very primal need things. So when you step into the modality of understanding your inner workings, that there's both masculine and feminine aspects of each person, and that's what both of those snakes coiling around the center thing represent. It's a masculine and feminine. It's a dark and a light. It's the opposite to the opposite. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Your kidneys have a masculine and feminine. Your lungs are masculine and feminine. Okay? Depending on which one's right and left. Okay? Eyes, too. Ears. Okay? Duality. Okay? But they're all existing in one person. And that's going to make a lot of people PO'd. Okay. Now, your genetics are another thing. I'm not going there. I'm not a biologist. I'm not doing that. I'm working with energy only here. But there are biological markers that do differentiate between who has an external equipment and who has internal equipment. Okay? Just lay that one to rest. And if you want to change that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As long as you're in your right mind and you have full consent as to exactly what's going to happen to your body. I don't care. So, that being said, when you can understand that masculine side of you that's terrified of your own emotions, and then look honestly at your feminine that wants nothing more but to bathe in all of them in sheer horror, bliss, joy, pain, triumph, all the things, dude, all the things. We want to feel it deeply, most of us, not all of us. But for my scorpionic nature, we want to feel it. We want to feel it. It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable or not uncomfortable. We want to know, because Scorpios especially understand that on that river of life, that's your navigation mechanism. That is your tool to understand, this is good for me, this is not good for me. This is what their intent is, and that's how I know that I'm right with their intent. Because people will come at you with these pretty little lies and whatever else and woo you there and blah, blah, blah. That's why I hate romance. I can't fucking stand it. Because you can't trust it, right? Because all that stuff that they're pouring forth, they're expecting specific, detailed things in return that they will never tell you about under any circumstances. And when you don't automatically give them the telepathic crap that they're wishing for, they will tear you down. They will kill your spirit. They will demand that you get the fuck out of your water and not feel it anymore, so they can have full access to you and take advantage in every way, shape, and form, because you don't have your roadmap. You have lost your navigational skills to life. Okay. And they've been instructed and programmed to behave in such a way so that they can get their way. By telling you that your emotions are wrong, they're the devil, they're icky pooey, they're madness, they're malevolent, they're manipulative, when in actuality, your emotions are just your road markers. Like, watch for fallen rock over here. Lady, you are entering dangerous territory. Do you want to get beamed in the skull, or do you want to turn around and get the heck out of Dodge? Do you understand? So you can feel that coming in. It's not psychic. I hate that word. I hate that word so much. It's not psychic. It's pattern recognition, and it's acknowledging your internal workings as something sacred and a guidance system. It's nothing more than that. Okay, so this isn't some special skill that the eighth housers or the Scorpios or I think Cancer also has it, Pisces, all the water signs typically tend to be more naturally psychic because they have emotion. They have more emotion. They can tap into it. And they turn toxic when they are not allowed to tap into it in a healthy way. Sorry. So when you step into the emotion initially, you're going to be a little bit overwhelmed, and maybe like music can help you with that. That's why some of us just, we want to live in music. We want to live because that sound, that frequency, energy we get from it, it resonates and it makes the world make sense to us. It helps the world, it helps make sense of the world when we can hear that music. We can understand it, gain new perspective, and continue to call those energies in. Like, I got a Spotify account, and sometimes I'll just like pick a word. I'll just pick a word that I'm feeling, and I will just listen to all the songs that have that word in the title of the song. And it helps you process things. It helps you gain more perspective. It helps you craft your art. It helps you kind of alchemize. It does help you alchemize. Music is alchemy in and of itself. It's taking an emotion, feeling, sensation, and translating it into something beautiful and enjoyable for all. So, and that's the essence of life. That's why we love music so much, and that's why you avoid people who don't like music. If they don't like music, avoid them at all costs, because they not much in there. Okay. Been depleted somehow, some way, for whatever reason. You don't need to find out. Please, I swear. You don't need to find out. The other people to avoid on this journey are people who don't like babies, because they're not able to sit with their